600, a research project that the Conservancy commissioned back in 2001, 2003. We were specifically looking at the ecology of bison on the island and how many we could sustain. At the end of that study, we determined that approximately 150 could be maintained without having severe adverse issues or impacts on our native vegetation and allowing for enough habitat to remain for our native species.
So how many bison do you have on the island today?
Currently we have approximately 138. We've had extreme success using a contraceptive vaccine called porcine zona pellucida. We initiated the process in late 2009, and through the contraceptive we've actually been able to reduce the population, and now we're actually backing off on our application of the vaccine and allow the population to continue producing calves.
What sort of operation is it to give a contraceptive to such a large animal?
Well, PZP specifically requires 2 small doses of the vaccine delivered to the females only. The beauty of this is we don't actually have to capture the animals or hold them. We can deliver the vaccine remotely. And how do we do that? We track them down and we use actually just a dart rifle and a small vaccine dart. So the vaccine can be delivered in a very small dose. This is the whole dart right here. So 1 milliliter of the vaccine. We load it into a CO2 powered dart gun. And we generally get between 35 and 40 yards. Administer the vaccine. The dart falls out. We pick it up and we just record which individual is given the vaccine. The island ends up being a really great place. We've kind of coined it a living laboratory. So anything that's out here, it's in a kind of controlled atmosphere being on an island. We can approach things very scientifically and within a controlled environment to allow us to do research and study that's going to be applicable elsewhere. And anywhere that's planning on using this particular approach, we're going to have a lot of the answers that they're going to need to determine if this is something that they want to use.
So bison were introduced to Catalina by people, and people have made them a part of their home and a part of their culture, and now people's choices are keeping them here and healthy. And that's something we can see all over the island.
Those species that are now living here on the island that displaced natives, brought here intentionally or unintentionally by man, have greatly altered the natural functioning of this island. Here on Catalina, there's a plan in place to reverse the harmful impacts of these species.
All right, Patrick. One of the biggest problems we face here, and then California in a broader context, the whole world really, is invasive plants. So here you can see one of the invasive plants we have on the island, hardy grass.
Yeah.
This is an area where it's been allowed to kind of become a monoculture. It was planted here for forage, actually, for cattle when they did cattle ranching up here. And so we're kind of right now.
Oftentimes quoted as being second are things growing where they're not supposed to grow, so invasive, exotic, those people something that came from and invasive refers to the fact that local plants and really alter local communities and the dynamics of them.
Exactly. When they get here, they don't have those forces that would hold them in check, such as predators or diseases. So they're able to just take advantage of that, and you can kind of see the results of that here.
So a lot of people would look at this and say, too late, write it off. This area is not worth saving. You guys are taking a different approach.
Yeah, we've put quite a bit of work into this species, so if you come with me, we can see some areas that we've worked on and made some progress.
Excellent. Lead on.
All right. So you can see here, this is one of our areas that's been a heavier infestation of arctic or Polaris aquatica. You can see we've done a lot of treatment on this for about 4 or 5 years, and then done some this year.
Good kill.
Yeah, right in here we've had some good kill.
Yeah.
But in an area that is as invaded as this, we found that we need to give Mother Nature a little boost, and so we do that by turning to our native plant nursery and doing some active outplanting.
And it's pretty obvious on the landscape, the stuff you got planted up because they're all armored. These little tubes here.
Exactly, yeah.
So inside the tubes looks like golden lotus. Can I take this off?
Sure, yeah.
So the tubes are there to protect the plants, and it's been horribly dry the past couple of years in this part of California. But one of the tubes there is for protecting the plant, right?
Right. So this tube here is because we have a couple species of introduced browsers here. We have mule deer and then also the bison.
This golden lotus, which is a Channel Island endemic, also looks fresh and green. I guess that's because you're smaller tube.
We have the smaller tube to help channel water down into the root system either when we water or any rain. Try to help get that down as far as we can.
I'll tell you, it's amazing to see something working. So often when we look at a problem with infestation of their species, there's a real problem. And when we look at it and say, oh, nothing we can do about it, the problem's too large. And you guys
program.
What does it take to have something succeed this size?
Yeah, it takes a lot of work. So right now we're 2 full-time employees. We have 4 interns right now and a lot of volunteers.
A serious commitment.
It is a serious commitment. The rewards to it are not always obvious,
But
but
it's one that pays off.
it is one that pays off.
I'm blown away. I've rarely encountered anything of this scale, and especially something that's sustainable and where you have commitment to go through the future. It's incredible.
To be able to do this type of restoration, you have to have the native stock to restore it. And this is perhaps the most challenging part of the entire project.
It's incredible. It's like every native endemic on the island needs to see so many of these things. And the purpose of this incredible nursery, why is this needed?
This is an example of one of our rarest shrubs, or sometimes it's called a tree. This is the Catalina Pubg God, and it's an example of a rare species, an endangered species.
And we're talking rare, we're talking very rare, what, like 7 known individuals?
That's right, yeah. Last that we've recorded, there were 6 or 7 pure individuals. And at the turn of the century, it was reported there were, I think, about 400 plants at one point, and now they're coming back. Species like this will go as outplantings into other restoration sites where they have kind of a hedge against it if something was to happen to the wild population. Other plants have a lot of ornamental characteristics. Catalina silver lace or Constellation Davidii is endemic just to 3 of the southern Channel Islands, so Catalina, Santa Barbara, and San Clemente Islands.
Yeah. And then there's a beautiful example of this in Avalon, and it's growing on a cliffside with, I didn't see anything else native. It's like, there's this issue of all of these invasives and exotics that have been brought to a place like Avalon for some reason. You say a plant in there too, don't you, in town?
In Avalon, we do landscaping, and we try and get stakeholders to use our Catalina native plants. One, they're tolerant, they have a lot of relationships with pollinators and wildlife on the island, and they also can be beautiful and functional. And it's a small community, but that's one of our outreach efforts.
So some of these plants are going out to restoration areas. You're trying to protect these very cool endemics.
Yeah.
How successful is this thing? Might spend their share.
It varies widely depending on the species. All these plants have different strategies dealing with the drought that we have here in Mediterranean California. And depending on the species, some will do really well. Container plant, others very unsuccessful, would be better planted as seed. It's an emerging science, and within Southern California, there's the growing need for restoration in these really endangered habitats, and also an increasing understanding of how they function as systems. You really have to kind of mimic what nature would do to recover these landscapes. But we rely on a lot of volunteers, and we have various conservation corps. The American Conservation Experience is one we work closely with, and AmeriCorps, and also a group of kind of local volunteers that we work closely with and keep us going. In addition to our living collections here and plants that will be planted out for restoration, we also have a seed conservation facility, a seed bank. And in that seed conservation facility, we have about half of the native flora is represented there. We've been collecting seeds for, we're 20 years.
I'd love to take a look at it. It's something we're trying to do.
Yeah, that's good. So our seed conservation program has focused on seed collection and conservation of 2 plant groups. One is rare plant species, and then the other is bulk collection for restoration. Here in our seed facility, we have over 20 years of collections representing 243 native plant species from Catalina Island. And the last count we did with our database, we had about 240 million seeds in conservation here in this facility.
So you really have 2 layers of backup here for plants. You got your living plants, and then you have this long-term storage.
Yeah, that's right.
Not all of the diversity on the island is endemic. Some are emblematic and wide-ranging with a long history here. But that's often a history of loss. Some of the most charismatic are well on their way back. While I'm visiting restoration sites, Katie is spending time with Peter Sharp and studying eagles of Catalina.
We are in our eagle aviary. It's where we keep our educational bald eagle, Pimu, and golden eagle, Heidi. And also where we bring birds temporarily, such as
Currently, you've got one.
K-28 up there, who was pulled from the ocean a few days ago.
So I see the bright orange tag. What do you use that for?
Each bird gets a unique number, and that allows us and others to identify the birds from a distance. By the late 1950s, early 1960s, all the bald eagles were gone from the Channel Islands.
Counts a lot
were wiped out primarily because of DDT pollution. There was a manufacturing plant on the mainland, and thousands of tons of DDT were dumped into the ocean. And what that does to the eagles, it impacts how the females lay down the eggshell, and basically the eggs would break before the chicks could hatch. So starting in the late 40s, we probably had no reproduction, and with no young, the adults just died out. There were no more eagles on the Channel Islands. The organization I work for, Institute for Wildlife Studies, was created initially for the bald eagle restoration. Our initial restoration work was here on Catalina. We brought 33 young bald eagles down here between 1980 and 1986 and put them in large, what we call hacking towers. They're about an 8 by 8 foot cage, 15 to 20 feet up in the air on stilts.
Wow.
And so we get 8-week-old birds, bring them down, put them in these towers for a month, feed them through chutes so they can't see us. And then when they're ready to fly at about 12 weeks of age, we open the front door. They're free to go out on the front stoop there, get some more exercise until they get the courage to fly. Each breeding season, which is essentially January through June, July, I have employees that are monitoring the eagles, finding out when they lay their eggs, if the chicks hatch.
Were you going in and checking the eggs to see if they were still had DDT in them, if they were harder than they were before?
Initially on Catalina, the first eggs all broke in the nest. So what we started doing is we got artificial eggs. And as soon as they would lay, we'd go into the nest, we'd take the fragile real eggs, place these artificial eggs in there, and the adults would just come back and incubate those. We would take the real eggs for artificial incubation, mostly at the San Francisco Zoo.
Okay.
And then when the chicks hatched, we'd bring them back down, take the fake eggs out, put the chicks
Put
in,
them back with their parents.
and from that point, the adults would just raise the chicks on their own. And in 2006, two birds which are actually from Catalina, but breeding on Santa Cruz, successfully hatched a chick for the first time in 50 years or so.
Wow. They went from absolutely no eagles to you feel it's a solid population now in Catalina.
Catalina, yes, we have 8 breeding pairs here, which is probably about what it was historically before they were wiped out. Having them breeding on their own, it's a relief for me, and it's really